Good evening. A driver's been dragged from his car by masked thugs before being bashed and tasered. The gang took the man and his friend by surprise, telling them they'd be killed if they didn't hand over their keys.
Bleeding from the head, his hands covered in his own blood, a 25-year-old man is barely conscious after a savage bashing outside his friend's home.
It's disturbing. It just affects you mentally.
The victim and his female passenger are too scared to be identified. They had just pulled up on a street in Bundoora when they were swarmed by 2 carloads of armed and masked men.
They just opened the front 2 doors and just started, electrocuting my friend. I don't know the devices that they used, but then it just seemed like they were giving him electric shocks, and then hitting him with something hard on his head.
Police don't know if they had been followed and believe the thugs were after the man's white Holden Cruise. During the attack, they grabbed his keys.
It's very shocking. It's horrifying for the victim.
Several neighbours heard the couple's cries, but only one came to help. The man rushed out of his house screaming at the attackers, who became spooked and sped away.
I was just thinking of someone please help. Yeah, that's the main reason I was yelling.
Rescued but not relieved. The victims now fear the thugs could return for their car that's been seized for forensic testing.
And Jodie Lee joins us now from police headquarters. Jodie, have police made any arrests?
Well, Mitch, police don't know who they're looking for. It was dark last night and the offenders had their faces covered, so the victims weren't able to identify them. Police do believe they sped away in a late model hatchback and another vehicle, so they're hopeful that someone will have seen those cars and will come forward. Mitch.
Thanks, Jodie.
A university student has been attacked with a metal weapon and tasered by a gang trying to steal his car in Bundoora this morning. His female passenger sitting beside him screamed until a neighbour intervened. Crime reporter Alexis Daish has the details.
Watching her friend beaten until bloodied, this young student feared they'd both be killed.
Hitting him with something hard on his head, just telling us, get out of the car or else we're going to kill you.
She was sitting beside the 25-year-old driver as he was bashed with a metal weapon and attacked with a taser.
I started, electrocuting my friend. I don't know the devices that they used, but then it just seemed like they were giving him electric shocks.
It was just before 1 this morning in Bundoora. The pair were in Ganella Crescent en route home when they noticed 2 cars following them.
Scared, terrified, obviously.
The victim pulled up, 1 car stopped behind and another beside his vehicle. Police say the masked offenders went to either side of the student's Holden and ripped open the doors, ordering the pair to get out.
I heard the car moving and some bashing on the car and screaming.
I was dying, kind of screaming. It was really serious.
The gang was trying to pull the victim out of the driver's seat but couldn't because he still had his seatbelt on. A neighbour heard his friend screaming from the passenger seat and came out of his house, prompting the offenders to get back in their cars and drive off.
It's a horrendous sort of action. It's scary for the victim. They don't know what's going on. They're just there to drop someone off, and next thing they know, they've been ripped out of a car.
Detectives believe the attempted carjacking was random, the offenders fleeing with the car keys.
I just hope they don't come back again for anything else.
While the driver recovers with stitches in the back of his head, his friend says this to their attackers.
Just leave people alone. You don't have to do this to everybody. They don't deserve it.
Alexis Daish, 9 News.